you know, just like Esau and Jacob, they both had blessings. Esau had a blessing too, you know. So Yahweh Shai, he's blessing Ishmael. He's making him fruitful, you know, and making him like a king of the earth. Because look at all these Arabs, you know, they own
a lot.
They own a lot of things.
Land. And I don't. You guys remember, like 4 or 5 weeks ago, I did a lesson at the camp about how the dollar was number 9. Those countries that were above him, they're all Ishmaelite countries in the dollar. So those are all princes right there. So Yahweh Bashim Yahushai said, look, don't worry about Ishmael. He's going to be all right.
Yeah.
21. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year.
So Ishmael, he had a promise, but he didn't have the promise of the kingdom, you know?
So, keep going. 22. I'll just finish. And he left off talking with him, and Elohim went up before Abraham. I'm going to look for Galatians.
Yeah, that's what I was Galatians 4. Yep. Galatians 4 and 1.
We all agree on the same thing. Galatians 4. We'll start at 1.
Yeah.
Galatians 4 and 1. O foolish Galatians, who hath bewitched you, that you should not obey the truth, before whose eyes Yahweh Shai HaMashiach hath been evidently set forth, crucified among you.
Galatians 4.
Oh, that was 3. Oh man, see. But, you know, that the Galatians were foolish. They didn't want to listen.
Yeah, because this is what it's talking about, you know, actually about the heathens, you know, how they want to try to be, you know, a part of Israel.
So Galatians 4 and 1. Now I say that the heir, as long as he is a child, differeth nothing from a servant, though he be Lord of all. Now we're going to get into it.
Right, so the way you think of it is, imagine that a father dies, right? A father dies and he leaves you an inheritance, you know. Even though right now we're slaves, you know, we still have that inheritance.
Yeah, and right now we're inheritors.
Even though we don't actually own the land yet.
But we are slaves. Why? Because we have to serve like this. We have to serve like this. We have to make those videos, serve in our. This is our church, by the way. So we do our service in the church, do our studying before we get to the church, and then we put the whole sermon together. And then the hard part is getting it out to the Israelites, because, like brother said, everybody wants a piece of this pie. That's like you go to a Marie Callender's restaurant, and they're making that pie that everybody wants, but it's only for a certain table, and everybody's asking about that pie, and that cook has to keep telling those motherfuckers, look, this is for that table. This is for the special table. Don't even try to get this pie, because it's not for you, and we're not going to allow you to have it. That's why those fake Jews set up themselves, those 1948ers set themselves up in the land that's not theirs, calling themselves a people that they are not. Everybody wants that piece of the pie, and that pie is good, and that pie lasts forever. That pie is an everlasting pie. verse 2. But is under tutors and governors until the time appointed of the Father.
So right now we're under tutors, which are teachers, the apostles of the Great Millstone,
The elders on down.
and all the elders on down. We're under them until the set time until he comes back. Until the set time.
Man, and I think about that set time all the time.
The set time that Yahweh set,
And speaking of set, let's say you're lifting weights. Every time you do it, it's called a what? A set.
Yep. It's a certain number that you got that you.
Everything revolves around the Bible to us. So we're over here doing reps, we're doing sets, completing a set. Boom, boom. But this time you get the results right after you do the set. You look in the mirror, and you're like, man, I'm getting swole. And then you're being productive. Verse 3. Even so, when we were children, let me read that again. Even so, when we were children, were in bondage under the elements of the world.
So that's how it was before Yahushua came. We were under slaves to the world because we kept sinning. But then when Yahushua came back, then that's when we were supposed to stop sinning.
Yeah. Because his blood was on our spiritual doorpost, so that he could pass over. And look, and you guys are stupid because the blood has to be on us to be saved from the second Passover, which is those nuclear missiles, chariots, World War III. It's a whole bunch of shit that you don't want to have none of. And that's when you want to be spoiled. Not as spoiled like you get spoiled as a fucking nation gets spoiled, but you want to be spoiled like a spoiled baby. Like a spoiled baby brat. Like you do this, and Yahweh just gives you things. That's all you gotta do. Daddy, I'm hungry. And their table gets set, and not only does it get set, but the angels are serving, right? Tutors and governors. And then you're like, I want that. And they're like, no, you gotta have this first. This is what you're gonna start off with: milk, mashed potatoes, and green beans. The most nutritious part of that meal is gonna help you. And then the next time you go eat, you're sitting at the big boy table. Now you're eating chopped up chicken. The angels made you some nice vegetables. You're eating asparagus now. More nutritious, more delicious. So the people that we're listening to, they're having steaks and eggs every night, and we're like, man, we want to have that. That because that's the part of the truth that we have to keep what? Generational. That's what's going to keep getting passed down. That's the promise. Verse 4. But when the fullness of the time was come, Yahweh sent forth his son, made of a woman, made under the law. Okay, that's a given right there. Made of a woman, made under the law. So that means that Mary made Yahweh, and under the law means that she got married to Joseph, and Joseph went in unto her and spilled that seed. Verse 5. This is the part right here. To redeem them that were under the law, that we might receive the adoption of sons.
So the ones who are under the law, he said to the ones who are under the law, not everybody's under the law, only the Israelites.
And it's not talking about police officers. So what does being under the law mean? Like for example, you can't be an heir unless you're under that law, right? You have to have and then it gets tricky because here in Babylon, you can't be an heir unless you have a birth certificate, and you can match the lineage. Okay, this is his son, so he is going to get the inheritance, and that's a law. But this law is a law of his word. It came out of his mouth. So it's like they say, word is bond. This word is never going to go void. And you should think about what I said like this. In Jack Snyder's the Justice League, in the beginning, Superman's getting crushed by Doomsday. And he's yelling, but that yell ripples out, and it keeps going around the earth, and it doesn't stop until it goes all the way around. So that's Yahushua's word. This is this right here. Man, everything is after the Bible, man. They made that movie after the Bible, man.
You want to go to Galatians 4 and 21?
Yeah, now it's getting into the promise. Galatians 4 and 21. Tell me, ye that desire to be under the law, do ye not hear the law?
He's telling you, you people who desire to be what? To be
under the law.
Yeah. So if you desire to be under the law, that doesn't mean that he gave you the commandments. You know? You're like, man, can I please follow your commandments? You know, that's how the heathens are. They're like, can I have a part of this?
That's right. And that's the hard part right there, man, because all the battles that Israel's been in, they got spread out all over the world. And like Apostle Tahar said in the last street gospel, that we're all over the place. We are all over the place, all over the earth. And this is the only captivity that we don't know who the fuck we are.
And they say that China has a lot of children, but they might have a lot of children in their country, but we got children everywhere.
Yeah, so those children in China might be Israelites.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of Chinese and Israelites, I mean, Chinese, I'm going to just say like this, Chinese-looking Israelites that are suffering right now. Because they can't have what we have right here. They can't have no Chinese folks telling the other Israelites that look like Chinese folks, wake the fuck up.
And why do you think we fill up the suburbs? The ghettos. You know?
Everywhere.
We fill up the ghettos because if there's no place to go, that's eventually where everybody, where you're gonna fall off to.
And there's a story in the news where there's the Bruces. There was this black family. They had a bunch of money in 1912. They bought a mansion or a hotel, and they were making money for themselves. But what did Esau do? He took it away. Because that's where you can't be. Jake, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you can't be in the uppity part of town. You can't have your own way. You can't have your own money.
I think that's what they did with Black Wall Street.
Yeah. Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1921, they bombed the fuck out of that place. But Israelites, how are you going to get rid of Israelites? You get rid of us, somebody's going to wake up. And it's not just somebody. And look at like, I'm going to tell you like this. Since the days of Abba Bivens, Spirit has been pouring out like crazy. Non-stop. Brothers are waking up, brothers are falling off, but every time a brother falls off, two or more wake up, and they wake up with such a spirit, and it's almost like, wow.
Yeah, because the ones who fall off are an example to the new ones coming in, you know?
That's right. Man, that's powerful right there. Because what happens, let's say one of them's falling out, and they got, well, I hate to use this as an example, they got brain cancer. They got a tumor, they got something. And then we have a brother coming in. So he's watching that brother and he's like, man, I don't want to be like that. So what do we tell that other brother that's going through that pain? Look, you got to make a video. And what is this brother, the new one? He makes videos. See how it's almost tragic if it wasn't ordained by the Most High. And it's sad that you have to go through that pain and suffering to show another brother, look, don't be like this motherfucker. Damn. How would you feel if you were a little kid and your dad ordered you a Happy Meal. You fall asleep, you didn't open it right then and there. You're at home now. Now you wake up and there's nothing. There's no fucking toy in it. Are you gonna be happy? Well, can we go back to McDonald's again? No, fuck no.
Or what if he gave your Happy Meal away to somebody else?
That would hurt.
You know?
That would hurt. Yeah. Just think about it like that. Just think about it like this. Oh man, this is how you other nations feel. Your daddy buys that Happy Meal and you think you're gonna get it, but he stops at some other woman's house and there's another baby coming out and he goes, "Here, son." You're like, "What the fuck? I'm your son too. I'm your son too." But you ain't Isaac.
Yep.
You ain't Isaac. Isaac had the Happy Meal that Ishmael thought he was gonna get. And then Isaac's all eating that fucking apple slices and fries and nuggets.
Yep, playing with that toy.
Oh shit. That's it. Louis 21 again. Tell me, ye that desire to be under the law, do ye not hear the law?
But do you not hear what the law is saying? It's going to say in the next verse.
For it is written that Abraham had two sons, the one by a bondmaid and the other by a free woman.
But two sons by two mothers, right? One was a bondwoman and one was a free woman.
So by this time, you have done so much studying in the scriptures that when you think about that, you think about, okay, it says in Exodus that if we're enslaved to our brother and he gives us a woman, she's his slave and she has a baby, all those babies are his. But if I have a baby with a free woman, I'm building up my house. It's just that simple. That's pretty scary right there. He could build you up to be a slave.
That's why the Most High picked the free woman, you know, for the lineage to go through, you know.
Man, and that would be like an arranged marriage. Here we are, la-di-da, working and looking at women that we think are fine, but the Most High thinks they're disgusting. Those bitches are garbage. Why? But the demons get on in our fucking head. Look at her, she's got a nice booty. Yeah, she's got a nice booty, but then you take off her pants and she's got cottage cheese all over the fucking place. Cellulite, and all you're thinking about, this woman has sperm deposit. This is the sperm deposit bank toy. You're like, fuck that shit. So what would happen if the opposite? Now Yahweh comes in and he's like, look, this is your one. I'm made her for you. She's what? She's 15 years old. She's young. She's no creases, no nothing. And you're like, bang! And you're like harder than a steel rod. But you didn't fixate your eyes on her before. You didn't see her before, so you weren't tempted of her before. That's why Joseph popped Mary before the ceremony. It was his wife already. Man, you gotta be excited about this truth. Verse 23. But he who was of the bondwoman was born after the flesh, but he of the free woman was by promise.
So he of the free woman was by promise, which is the Most High's promise, but he of the flesh, he's the one that tried to make, by Ishmael being born, he tried to make an attempt to get that promise, you know, because when you go to the different what's it called? It's the NLT, right?
Different version.
It says, the son of the slave wife was born in a human attempt to bring about the fulfillment of God's promise. So that's all it was. That's all it was. Abraham being born, Ishmael being born was only an attempt to try to get the Most High's promise, the Most High's blessing, the promised blessing.
Because if we remember, before Abraham was trying to give the blessing to his Eleazar, the head of the house that he appointed. He was trying to give him the blessing. So when Ishmael was born, he was like, yes, yes, I have an heir. But guess what, man? That wasn't the heir to the promise. Now, what's the promise? Why is the promise such a big deal? Because Yahushua himself came to Abraham and told him, I'm going to come out of your wife's womb, so you can understand. He said, look, Abraham, I'm changing your name from Abraham to Abraham and Sarai to Sarah, and I'm going to go back to heaven, and you're going to do this thing with your wife, and I'm going to be that sperm that's going to turn into Isaac. He didn't say all that, but that's what he said. And Abraham was like, man, could you imagine being born of a promise, the word, how wish I said? And that's all he needs. That's okay, that's all he needs. It's hard to believe, isn't it? It's very difficult.
Now you go down to verse 26.
Galatians 4 and 26. But Jerusalem, which is above, is free, which is mother of us all.
So, the Jerusalem is talking about the Israelites, because another name for Israel is Jerusalem, and
or Zion.
And then it's gonna say,
27?
Yeah.
For it is written, rejoice, thou barren that bearest not. Break forth and cry, thou that travailest not. For the desolate hath many more children than she which hath an husband.
So it's actually talking about Sarah, because we're rejoicing that she's having children.
And she didn't even have trouble pushing that baby out. Because it says here, break forth and cry, thou that travailest not. So that was a hell of a promise. That was a hell of a promise. Look, Sarah, you're not even going to have labor pains, okay?
Yeah, because she's going to be so happy, she ain't even going to be thinking about her labor pains,
She was 90 years old, man. Look at a woman out here that's fucking 50 or 60. They're all beat up.
Yep.
Man, that's it. That's it. But back in this day, Sarai was 90 and she was walking around like she was okay.
Man. Yeah, because you gotta be healthy to have a child.
Yeah. And in that tent, in their house, Abraham's house, how many other women were having babies? And they were screaming, get this out of me. But she didn't. They didn't even know she had a baby. She's like, oh, Isaac's here? Man. Let me read that one again. For it is written, rejoice, thou barren that bearest not. Break forth and cry, thou that travailest not. For the desolate hath many more children than she which hath an husband.
So that's why Sarah represents the heavenly Jerusalem, the Israelites, because if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't, our line wouldn't come through, Isaac.
Yep. So he put up all the things that work together. Now that's a good thing. I remember what I was going to say. So guess what? She was part of the promise. Like the brother said, she was essential.
Yeah.
You women today are not essential. We can make Israelites with any woman. With Moabite women, Ammonite women, Samoan women. But this time the promise is so important. Look, I'm gonna pick this special woman to give you what you thought you couldn't have with her. So that's a big deal, because she couldn't have babies. How long were they married? They were probably married 70 years, 60 years maybe. Abraham was 100. Let's say they met when they were 20. That's just 70 years right there being married. So they had sex all the time, but they couldn't multiply. And then Sarai was so upset that she gave Hagar to Abraham and said, look, just have a child with him and that child's going to be mine. She was desperate. So the Lord knows what we really need. And that promise is special. That makes us special. That all it was is a promise. Verse 28. Now we, brethren, as Isaac was, are the children of the promise.
Dang. He said, we brethren, brothers, are the Israelites are all brothers, are the children of the promise. Man.
See, this is called the Spirit. And I understand what the apostles are talking about. I didn't write nothing down.
I don't got my notebook today, you know. I usually write it down.
That's the thing that was missing from him. I didn't see that, but I was like, something's missing.
You know, I just decided to go off the Spirit today.
And that's when you...
I mean, I go off the Spirit every time, but...
Yeah, that's when you know that you're improving. Like for lifting weights, I've been studying a lot about weights. When you improve, it's not because you look big, it's because you're pushing more. Pushing more weights.
It's called bodybuilding. You know, you're building muscle each time.
But this is spiritual building. And I got to tell you, my legs are sore. My whole body is sore. But I love it.
You got a good workout?
I always get a good workout because of that tongue cat Ali.
Yeah. I just got that 2 days ago.
So you're on the second day?
Yeah. I took four pills altogether.
2 each, give or take?
2 in the morning and then 2 at night.
Well, it tells you to take 4.
Oh. So like, you could either take 1 to 2. It says 1 to 2. But I actually did take 2 in the morning, 2 at night.
So he's gonna feel good, and it just gotta break down in his body, and the blood has to carry all those compounds in throughout his system, and his system has to take it and absorb it. So we want you to absorb that we are the children of the promise. So you gotta be part of that promise. Galatians 4:30. Nevertheless, what said the scripture? Cast out the bondwoman and her son, for the son of the bondwoman shall not be heir with the son of the free woman.
So it says cast out the bondwoman and her son. That's Ishmael. To cast them out, you know,
Right.
because they shall not be joint heirs with Isaac. You know,
That's
Ishmael and Isaac are not joint heirs.
And don't be no goddamn dummy and say, but why? That's cruel. Oh yeah? Wasn't Esau Jacob's brother? And what did Esau said? As soon as the days of mourning pass from my father, I'm gonna kill my brother.
Yeah, isn't that cruel?
So Ishmael would have been like, you know, I'm gonna kill you. And I'm gonna take the promise. Right?
Yeah.
So everything has to be done the way it was done.
Yeah, because Ishmael actually did persecute Isaac, you know?
That's true. Verse 31, let me just finish that. So then, brethren, we are not children of the bondwoman, but of the free.
That's right. So we're from the free woman. That means we're free, you know? We're not held captive to this world, you know?
But we're captives in this world. That's the part.
Yeah.
Although we're in slavery, we're free.
The truth will set us free.
That's right. How you doing, sir?
Because it said that the truth will set you free, and the truth is that the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans are the Lord's chosen people, and they need to repent and learn the commandments of the Lord.
Because he's coming back to destroy. Matthew 10 will tell you all about that, and I heard a bell when I said that. Maybe the bell was in my head. But Maybe the promise.
That's the bell to ring you Israelites up. You know, that's the alarm bell. The alarm.
You ever seen those cartoons where the drill instructor grabs the bell and is like, wake up?
Yeah.
That's it. You gotta wake up fast because they want you to wake up fast and move fast. See, some Israelites take their sweet fucking time. Oh, I know I'm an Israelite. I got time. Shit ain't bad right now. You know, it's been a year. I know I'm an Israelite. I call them the name. Yeah, I'm gonna be okay. 2 years pass by. Oh, I haven't made a video. And then, oh, my fucking arms. Look at my arm. It's shriveling up. It's too fucking late by then.
Oh, but you still believe. Oh, I think I'm gonna still be saved. You know.
Because all I have to do is turn on the YouTube and watch.
Want to get one more? Genesis 22 and 2.
This is Genesis 22. And 2. Genesis 22 and 2. And Sarah died in Kiriath Arba, the same as Hebron in the land of Canaan. And Abraham came to mourn for Sarah and to weep for her.
Genesis 22 and 2.
Oh, that was 22.
But you know, hey, Sarah died, you know.
That was probably going to set you up.
You know?
Alright. So, you got the lesson. So, Genesis 22 and 2. And he said, take now thy son, thine only son Isaac, which thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I tell thee of.
Read that first part again. Just that first part.
And he said, take now thy son, thine only son Isaac.
So Abraham, he had 2 sons. Why is Yahweh Bashim Yahushai saying, take your son, your only son Isaac? Because he don't care about Ishmael.
That's
see?
right. Ooh.
And that's just, you know, the banger, you
That's
know.
just the bottom line. He didn't care about Esau. He didn't care about Ishmael or the sons he had with Keturah.
That's right, you know.
Wow.
So that's why you have to believe that you're an Israelite. You know, even though you may think you're a heathen and you look white, it might be in you that you're an Israelite, you know.
That's right.
That's why anybody who walks up here, we treat them like they're Israelite, because they may very well be.
Shit, they all might be.